Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sleep like a lot.
From the moment Himawari Uzumaki was first revealed to have possession of the Byakugan during the one-shot manga chapter the day that Naruto became Hokage, it quickly became clear that the youngest child of Naruto Uzumaki was someone who was in possession of an enormous amount of potential. While it was originally shown off as being a mere gag moment where Himawari's Byakugan and skill were enough that she shut down all of Naruto's chakra points in a single attack, something that even her mother Hinata was shocked to discover, we've since then seen flashes that Himawari might be more than just a one-time fluke meant for gag humor. In fact, now that the anime has decided to show us Himawari fully embracing her ninja path of going down that path to becoming a ninja, it seems as if the moment that so many fans wanted, where Naruto's youngest child reaches her full potential, looks like that might be at hand. However, I want to discuss with you guys why Himawari becoming a ninja is something that has the potential for a heartbreaking battle that none of us are ready to see. Himawari versus Kawaki. Now, while the idea of Kawaki fighting Himawari might be something that makes you want to punch the nearest wall in anger, I want you guys to remember that Kawaki is a proud believer of equal rights mean equal lefts. He's got no problem knocking the shit out of a woman if she pisses him off. The way that he was quick to transform his arm into a blade and attempted to slice Sarada in half in chapter 58 is proof of that notion. If and when Kawaki goes off on the deep end, if Himawari is a ninja, Kawaki's gonna have no problem making Hinata's youngest child do several backflips through the air, much in the same way that Hinata did against Pain, where she did a bunch of twirly twirls in the air during the Pain arc. Jokes aside, I have to say that if this does end up being a future fight, the payoff for this is going to be pretty huge, because we've seen so many character dynamics between these two characters get set up in the anime and manga that will make the moment where Kawaki raises his fist up against Himawari's sweet and innocent face, pounding her into oblivion. It's gonna feel like it's one of the most heartbreaking moments in the series. It's gonna be almost as heartbreaking as when he does so against Naruto, when he eventually sends him wherever he says he sent him during chapter 1 of the manga. In the past, when we've seen Kawaki, at the very least, we know that he at least holds Himawari into a different light than he does others that he's met in Konoha, because she remains one of the few people in the manga he's never called an asshole. And now that he's going into the academy with her and is likely going to be forming an even deeper bond with Himawari, the moment where he turns on Konoha during the time skip, it's going to hurt so much more. And the reason why is because it's going to mean that Himawari might be harmed as well. In order to truly understand why the anime is setting up the relationship of Kawaki and Himawari is going to work to get Kawaki the heat that he needs as a future antagonist, we're going to have to look at some of the key moments that the two have shared in both the anime and in the manga in order to look at how this is setting up one of the most heartbreaking betrayals in the series. Kawaki was shown apologizing to Himawari for breaking her vase back during a time where he didn't show much remorse for much of anything. It was because Himawari's sad reaction that he was willing to give his name to Boruto in the manga. Kawaki has never been one who has been rude to Himawari, and more than once, he appears to be very considerate of her feelings, which in turn has caused him to warm up to her and her to arguably be the fastest person than anyone else in the village to warm up to Kawaki and accept him, which is a great example when you look at what happened with Jaggy, the wolf that died in the anime. Kawaki was the one who understood Himawari's pain, and he was the one there to comfort her. He kept her secret when all that was happening, goes so far as to speak to her politely and in a soft tone, almost as if he was caring for her during that moment where Himawari was emotionally rocked. We've seen him go out of his way to try and fix that broken vase for her, which in of itself now takes on a deeper meaning, because that broken vase now symbolizes their potential broken relationship. Now it's jagged and it's missing pieces, but it's filled with a mutual love, but it's never fully whole due to one missing piece. It's a perfect imperfection. We've seen Kawaki lose a limb to protect Himawari and Naruto from Delta's destructive eye beams, and Himawari was the first person to show any type of tears being shed for Kawaki's sake. The moment where Kawaki comforts Himawari at Jaggy's grave, that's huge, because we as the audience had already looked at Jaggy's fate as being commentary on Kawaki's perception of himself, where he thought that if he left the village and sacrificed himself, it would be better for him to lose himself if it meant sparing everybody else from Jigen's wrath. With Jaggy, Kawaki explained that Jaggy, due to his white fur, would have stood out more to predators, and that by being alone, he was able to protect his pack to make sure that they were spared from the danger of being hunted by predators who eventually killed him. We've seen these two characters with more than their fair share of moments, but the idea of Kawaki eventually raising hands against one of the first people to accept him in the village, the first person to ever shed tears for him inside of the village, and one of the people who truly went out of their way to make him feel comfortable in Konoha, is something that has the recipe for a truly emotional battle. And if you're getting emotional thinking about this, thinking about Kawaki punching Himawari in her sweet little face, how about you punch that like button to stop Himawari from crying? Because you guys know the deal by now. If you hit the like button, Himawari stops crying. And if Kawaki begins to start giving her equal rights and equal lefts, Himawari is going to be crying. So getting back to it though, if Himawari is one of the first people who fights Kawaki during the time skip, it makes whatever battle they have feel that much more emotionally tense, because it starts the process of severing those bonds inside the village when Kawaki eventually makes his misguided attack on the village in the future. Himawari activating her Byakugan to fight against Kawaki, that is a fight worth seeing, because her dojutsu will be able to see him when he shrinks down using the Sukuna Hikona. If her ability to shut down chakra points with a single hit wasn't just a gag moment, but instead the result of her emotions going into overdrive, then her learning to harness that skill and power into her own fighting style is going to make her an absolute monster. One hit and multiple chakra points get shut down, potentially all of them if she's skilled enough. It becomes a contest of speed at that point, similar to Minato versus Obito's battle, where one hit decides everything. Obviously, Himawari loses, but if she gets any sort of training and can develop into the shinobi that so many people think she has the potential of becoming, this could be the defining moment for Himawari. Instead of Himawari doing her best Hinata cosplay and going twirly twirl through the air doing Kawaki's assault in the village, she very well could be the Kakashi of her generation, putting up a valiant effort before falling in battle, but stopping just short before getting killed. Having Himawari fight against Kawaki, that is a point that shows just how far down Kawaki has fallen, how much whatever it is that caused him to break away from the village had actually done to make him reach this point. And it makes us as the audience realize that the Kawaki we knew and loved from before, that Kawaki is now dead. And the Kawaki who Boruto tells he never thought would go this far is on a whole different monster than before. One who we as the audience never expected to see, and seeing the lovable, sweet, adorable, must be protected at all costs, beautiful Himawari fall in battle at the hands of her adopted brother, her adopted Nichan. That's gonna rip our hearts out in a way that I personally am very excited to be able to experience this excruciating pain. It's the highest of pleasures to think that Himawari is going to be broken in half against the brother that betrays her, and the outrage that we as a community are going to feel at this very moment before Kawaki then goes around and turns on Naruto. This has so much potential right here. However, that just might be me. I know some of you guys might be like, yo, you are sadistic if you want Himawari to be crushed and broken in half. However, she's getting a ninja headband. She's about to be about that ninja life. She knows what she's getting with that headband on. And I'm very curious to know you guys' thoughts about how heartbreaking this could be. Will this make you hate Kawaki even more? It's one thing to get rid of Naruto. We've seen Naruto get the brakes beaten off of him, but the sweet, lovable, adorable Himawari getting beaten into an oblivion. Will this make Kawaki the most hated character in the series? I'm very curious to know what you guys think. While you think that over, consider watching these other videos you see on the screen right now.